So now let's do a word problem where we're going to have to use law of cosines. So we have a motorized sailboat leaves Naples, Florida, bound for Key West, which is 150 miles away, maintaining a constant speed of 15 miles per hour, but encountering heavy crosswinds and strong currents. So after 4 hours, the sailboat is off course by 20 degrees. So we want to know how far is the sailboat from Key West at this time, through what angle should the sailboat turn to correct its course, and how much time has been added to the trip because of this. Assume that the speed remains 15 miles per hour. So the hardest part is, again, going to be drawing this. So you can think of it like this. Like, I don't know where Naples to Key West is, but it says it's 150 miles. So we can say this is Naples and this is Key West. And we know this is 150 miles. And what it says is that it veers off course by 20 degrees. And so I'm going to assume, let's say it veers off to the left there. And so we now know that this in here is 20 degrees. And since I know it travels at 15 miles per hour for 4 hours, I know 15 mph times 4h will give you 60 miles. And so this length here is now 60 miles. All right. So what we need to do is look at this triangle here, right? So this path would be if it continued. This is where I need to turn to. So the first question is, how far away am I? So I need to find this x value here, this black line here. What's that distance? And look, we have side, angle, side, law of cosines. So here I know x squared is going to be equal to 60 squared plus 150 squared minus 2, 60, 150 cosine of 20 degrees. You'll get x squared when you type that in one line is equal to 9185.532. And here's the mistake that happens, like forgetting to take the square root. Take the square root to get what x is. And so x is about 95.84 miles now. All right. So you're 95.84 miles from your destination after 4 hours. All right, so that's the answer to A. Now, question B says, through what angle should the sailboat turn to correct its course? Well, that means if I'm heading in this direction because of the currents and the winds, I would need to turn my boat through this angle here. Let me change that color. I would need to change my angle through that there. So I need to find that angle in red there. Let's call that theta C. Well, how am I going to find that? I'm going to actually find this angle in here. Because these two angles, theta and theta C, are linear pair, meaning they add up to 180 degrees. They're supplementary angles. So if I can find this theta inside my triangle, I'm going to be able to find my theta C. Now, looking at what we have here, you can use law of sines and you can use law of cosines because you have an angle and its opposite, or you have all three sides. Again, it's up to you to decide what to use. For this example, I am going to use law of cosines just because. So cosine theta is going to equal 60 squared plus 95.84 squared minus 150, because that's the side opposite the angle I'm looking for. So remember, the square of the side you're subtracting is opposite the angle you're looking for. 2 times 60 times 95.84. And again, I would just plug in this into the arc cosine just so I don't make any mistakes, making sure to use parentheses again around the numerator and the denominator. And so theta would equal 147.636 degrees, which means my theta C is going to be 180 minus 147.6, and we get about 32.4 degrees to correct. So I need to turn 32.4 degrees to be heading back towards Key West. And so that's the answer to B. Now, question C has nothing to do with law of sines or law of cosines. How much time is added to the trip because of this? Well, let's take a look. Original was 150 miles, but now we went 60 plus 95.84, so just about 156 miles. That's how far we traveled, 156 miles versus 150. So the delta is just 6 miles. And if we assume we're traveling at 15 miles per hour, if we do 6 over 15, we're going to get about 0.4 hours, which is about 24 minutes of added time because of the crosswinds or the current. And so there we have a problem, again, using law of cosines. Again, once you use law of cosines, you can either use law of cosines or law of sines. It's up to you. Things to remember: take the square root, use parentheses correctly. And there you have it.